Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Sunju. I hope you guys are doing really well today. I wanted to film a little bit of a birthday book haul for you guys today. I told you guys in my last video that my birthday is in August and I went to Barnes & Noble and I ended up getting a couple books from there, and later that day I did just run to Walmart and pick up like 2 more. I ended up getting 7 books in total, so I just wanted to make a quick video to share those with you guys. And I do plan on making another video here in the next couple days, maybe the next week or so, doing a wrap up of the books that I've read in the last couple months and also doing a TBR. I don't know whether I want to do a September TBR or if I want to do like a September TBR specifically and then an overarching like fall TBR. If you guys care, let me know in the comments. I just wanted to show you guys what I got and talk a little bit about each one. So with that, let's get into it. The first book I got is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. It's part of the Bridgerton series. It is the first book in the Bridgerton series and it's Daphne and the Duke's story. I don't know if you guys are fans of Bridgerton or not. I'm a pretty big fan of Bridgerton. I've seen all 3 seasons. I'm not really sure which one was my favorite, to be honest. I actually binge watched the first 2 seasons before the 3rd one came out. I had already seen the first 2 seasons, but I just rewatched them so that I could be kind of caught up before the 3rd season. And I heard that a lot of people were binge reading the books before the 3rd season came out, and I saw a couple videos from people doing that, and I thought that sounded really fun. I'm generally somebody who likes to read the book and then watch the adaptation of it, but I did not know that Bridgerton was based on novels until after the 1st season, and that kind of historical romance type of book is not really my typical vibe. But I recently decided that I did want to read through the entire series because I heard that there's a lot of things in the books that didn't get put into the shows, or obviously a lot of detail and some plot lines that aren't being followed exactly as they appear in the book, and that piqued my interest in reading them. So that's why I picked up the first book and I intend to read the whole thing. The second book I got is called Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. I really like Lynn Painter's books. I think that she has a really fun writing style, and I know I've mentioned this before, but she is a local author, so that makes it more exciting, I guess, because sometimes she features landmarks and things about the city of Omaha in her books, and I like reading that because I know where those things are. And this book is about a girl who ends up getting a wrong text from this random phone number, and obviously she doesn't know who it is, but she starts communicating with them and it starts to get a little bit steamy, and then it turns out that the person on the other end of this steamy communication is actually her brother's best friend. She doesn't find this out actually yet. He's the one who discovers it because they end up moving in together for one reason or another, I'm unsure. And he kind of finds out as they're living together that she's the one that he's been texting, and he's always just seen her as his best friend's annoying little sister, but now he's trying to decide whether or not he wants to open that can of worms and bring up the conversations they've been having. And it just sounded like a really fun read. Summer's winding down, so I thought it would be really fun in the transitional months to still kind of read a couple fun, flirty, romance, rom-com type books, and this is one of the ones that I am looking forward to maybe reading. The next book I got is called You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. This book sounds really interesting. I've heard a couple other booktubers talk about it before, and they gave some pretty good reviews on it. It's just a book about 2 people who are engaged to be married. Their names are Naomi and Nicholas, and they actually don't want to get married to each other. She really doesn't want to get married, and for whatever reason, he doesn't want to go through with it either. However, they've already planned the wedding, and they're just a couple weeks out, and whoever backs out of this engagement first has to pay for all of the non-refundable wedding stuff that they've already booked. So they start this like prank war in this weird little petty thing between each other to try and get the other person to call off the engagement first so that they don't have to pay for it. But as the weeks go on, they start to realize that now that there's sort of nothing to lose, they're being their true selves with each other, which they never really were before. So they're starting to wonder, is there anything between them? And I think that sounds like a really fun concept. I've never read a book like this before, and I'm pretty excited to see how it is. The next 2 books I got are actually a part of a series. I initially thought it was a duology, but then I learned that this author is coming out with more of these books, and they are Done and Dusted and Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. I have heard so many people talk about this. I know that Steph and Allie and Sarah have all read it, and they've all really, really liked it. I also, ever since starting the Elsie Silver series, really enjoy a cowboy western romance type series. I like that there is a whole gaggle of characters that you're introduced to, and every book kind of gives each character their own spotlight. So the first book in this series, which is called the Rebel Blue Ranch series, is called Done and Dusted. The book is about Clementine, who goes by Emmy, and she ends up leaving her hometown to go to college and ride horses, but then she has an accident, so she has to come back to her hometown, and there she runs into her older brother's best friend, Luke, and he is kind of like an unofficial member of the Ryder family, which is Emmy's family. And he's never really seen her as anything other than, you know, just like the little sister running around. However, this time when she comes back home and they see each other in a bar, there's like a little bit more going on there. And so this book is just about their romance, I guess. And I'm pretty intrigued about it. I think that small town cowboy type dynamics are really fun, and I think it'll just be a nice light romance to read, and also I'm excited to dive into another cowboy series. So the second book in the series is Swift and Saddled, and it is about Ada, who is an interior designer, and she ends up coming to this small town because she's going to take on a project where she is helping with the ranch, and it's one of the largest ranches in Wyoming, and she takes it because she's failed out of design school and she's on an end of a divorce, and so she just really needs something for herself. And when she comes to town, she meets this guy in a bar, and they end up having this steamy one-night stand. And the next day when she goes to work, it turns out that the guy she had the one-night stand with is her new boss. And that guy's name is Wes. And as they work together, Ada is super convinced that she's not going to catch feelings for him and that they're just going to be able to keep this super professional, but Wes is not so sure, and he's super happy that she's there, and this is kind of just going to be a book about that romance and that story, so I'm excited to see how that develops. The next book is called The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I really like Christina Lauren's books. I actually didn't know that Christina Lauren was a duo. I just thought it was an author whose name was Christina Lauren, but I recently discovered that it's a duo and their names are Christina and Lauren, hence Christina Lauren. Maybe I was the only person who didn't know that, but whatever. I love their writing. My favorite book is Love in Other Words. That book just sat with me for so long after I read it. I found the story super beautiful, and it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. It's actually the book that got me back into reading after a super long slump. So if you guys are interested in me doing a video of my favorite books or some of the books that got me back into reading, then let me know in the comments and I'll definitely make one for you guys. This book is about a woman named Jessica, and she is a single mother, and she was raised by her grandparents, and she just doesn't believe in love, and she doesn't want to get into dating. However, she's really good with statistics and data, and there's this new matchmaking service that comes out called Genetically, and it's a DNA-based matchmaking service. So on a whim, she just decides, sure, it's based on numbers and statistics, sign me up. So then it comes back that she has a 98% match genetically with the founder of the app, Dr. Pena. And that's super unheard of. Like, that's never happened. So of course they decide that this is the perfect time to do PR and a press tour and make them date each other so that they can prove that their technology and their matchmaking service truly works. So they go on this full tour called like the Diamond Match or something like this, and they both do not like each other, like, at all. But after going on this tour, there might be something under there, but obviously they're both super stubborn, so the book is just exploring their love story, I'm assuming. I think it sounds really interesting. The idea that there is a matchmaking service out there that can match people based on their genetic compatibility. I've seen documentaries and things about how biologically people are like hardwired to find their matches through genetics and pheromones and things like that. So I think something like this actually isn't super far off maybe in the future. And the idea of this being a love story and the potential tension and slow burn romance sounds super nice and something right up my alley. And I also, again, just love Christina Lauren, so I'm really excited to start this one. The next book is called Happy Place by Emily Henry. I have read one Emily Henry book, and that was Funny Story, and I really liked that one a lot, but it's also the only Emily Henry book I own, so I wanted to pick up another one, and I ended up getting Happy Place because this one sounded the most intriguing to me. I'm not sure if it's many people's favorite. I definitely hear about Beach Read more often than Happy Place, but the premise of Beach Read didn't sound super interesting to me, so I decided to start with Happy Place instead. And it's essentially about this couple, Harriet and Wynne, and they've been broken up for 5 months now, but their friend group doesn't know that, and they are all traveling to this cottage in Maine where they spend a vacation once a year with each other as a friend group. But this year is the last year that they can do that because the cottage is for sale. So Harriet and Wynne have decided that they are going to go on this trip pretending that they're a couple in front of their friend group so that they don't break their friend group's heart and they don't ruin the dynamic of the friend group. And it's just a 1-week vacation. So that's kind of the premise of the book, is them trying to make it through this 1-week vacation, pretending to still be in love with each other, even though they've been broken up for 5 months, and oh my goodness, what could go wrong? I'm just super excited. It sounds really fun. I like kind of the more quirky premises of Emily Henry's books. I think that she has some really interesting storylines and thoughts, and I also really love the way that she wrote the characters in Funny Story, and I'm assuming that Happy Place is the same, so I am really excited to eventually read it. I'm not quite sure what the setting is for the book, like whether it's summer, fall, spring, whatever. I probably won't get to it until the fall or winter, and I know that a lot of people like to hold on to books until it seems like it's the right time to read them. I'm not really sure if I'm that kind of person. I'm more of just a mood reader in general, so if I want to read a light romance in the middle of the winter when it's snowing and -2 degrees outside, then I will. I also read fall books in the summer, and I read Christmas books in the spring. And I'm sure that some people will think that is like absolute book reading blasphemy or whatever, but I just don't know. Some books I do agree like have a fall vibe and just feel cozier to read when it's cold and you're curled up and you're just nice and warm and you have your little tea or your hot chocolate. But besides that, I don't really feel like I stick to any rules. Either way, whenever I do get to it, I am sure it's going to be a good read, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay guys, that was all of the books that I picked up. I told you it was just going to be a short little haul. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys have birthdays this month, happy belated birthday from me to you. Thank you so much for joining me and making it to the end of the video. I really hope you liked it, and why don't you let me know in the comments down below what your most recent read was. I'm really excited to see what you guys are picking up lately. I plan to see you guys again in another video shortly, and if you like the video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you like the video and you like me, please subscribe to my channel. I would really love to have you here, and I hope that you join me in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye! So for the first book in this series, which is called A Rebel Blue Ranch novel, So the first book in this series, which is called The Rebel blah, blah, blah. So I probably won't get to it until the fall. Oh my goodness, that lawnmower is so loud. A girl who ends up getting a wrong number from a text, and this book is about a girl who ends up getting a wrong number from this phone